That makes sense. So this game is a spike trend. A really quick, Perrin, before we end this one today, I want to show the trend on the screen. Can you pull up any other single player game on Google Trends and just show them? I mean, you could maybe even pull up multiple trends on there. We want to literally show you the numbers. This isn't just like, we just think this is going to happen with Cyberpunk. Literally every single player game that has ever existed and released has followed the exact same trend over and over and over again. And it looks like Perrin's already pulling up The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. You could also pull up any God of War title here. You could pull up Spider-Man Miles Morales here. And all of the trends would look identical. Perrin, tell them about the different cycles of these trends and why this is another reason why single player games are not good for creators.
So all these trends always look the same. There's always no traction, and we won't see this here. We're going to need past 5 years on God of War. There is little traction. God of War shows it really, really well. If you're watching this red spike, if you notice, there's little spikes pre-launch. This is where, the developer and publisher are feeding us juicy info that we can care about while we're building up hype and anticipation. And then you have launch, and launch is always this same spike for every single player game ever. This is exactly how the trend works. You get the launch spike, and it does not last long. Almost immediately, if you look at this, so the launch is here. Maybe I can zoom in a little bit. It's in May. Not even like a month later, it's already almost completely back down. June, July, by 2 months, it's almost back down to the bottom. Normally by month 3, the spike trend is completely back down to its normal line where it was pre-launch. So that means you've got 3 months to be in that spike trend, and afterwards, it's gone. It's absolutely gone, and you're back down to where you were almost where you were pre-launch. Now, if it's a great game, you'll have a little bit like of room there even after 3 months to get like a little bit of growth, where the other big competition will leave because they know this formula. I guarantee you every big streamer knows this formula. Oh, single player game, I got 3 months top, and I need to hit it really hard in month 1. Otherwise there's no point because you're not getting the increased search. All this spike means is that there's been increased search demand on the internet for this particular title. And then when it declines, it means search interest is gone, so that means less discoverability. So you have to build around that 3 months. It's always the same for every single game, even like the most successful games, unless it has multiplayer, like Minecraft, like GTA 5 multiplayer. Then that can be a little bit different. You can see a little bit more. You can see more spiking coming on down the road. The single player games are always the same.
Yep. They always die fast. And so Shroud is excited about this title. He hopes it's next gen. Obviously, like a lot of other people, they're excited about Cyberpunk 2077. But at the end of the day, every single player game that's ever existed, with the exception of ones that have modding enabled, die immediately. They spike up and then they die immediately, usually within a few months, like Perrin said. There are no exceptions. Just that's it. Now, horror games, you could say horror games sometimes have a little bit of a longer lifetime. Okay, there's like a couple. And then maybe Minecraft, okay. Maybe Roblox, but Roblox is multiplayer and Minecraft ended up being multiplayer too. So it's really hard to find an example of like a single player traditional RPG that had any sustainability over time. They almost all spiked and then died. And they'll get mini spikes when DLC comes out and they'll die after that. So Shroud's wish that this game will die after a month will probably come true, and he can get back to doing Shroud things. We love Shroud and his ridiculous beard. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode of the Digital Drop Podcast.